Oh, hello. Welcome to the Top 2 Inches Rugby podcast, brought to you by I Spy Surveys, the go-to specialist survey and inspection company based in Exeter, Devon. If you haven't actually gone over and checked those guys out, please do so. Fantastic company, and one we are very grateful that they sponsor our podcast. So, what we're going to talk about? Well, we're going to talk about rugby, everything that happened over the weekend, ranging from the Six Nations to the Gallagher Premiership, checking in on the Allianz Premier 15s. We'll also be tapping into the news and events that have taken place recently, and the fantastic news that the British and Irish Lions will be touring South Africa this summer. It's just a fantastic thing that it's going to be taking place, especially over there. Fingers crossed that fans will be able to travel, but we'll have to wait and see what the kind of specifics are about the competition. Anyway, let's just crack on with this episode. If we were having a conversation and you asked me to describe round 15 of the Allianz Premier 15s, I would probably say fight backs, wonder tries, and drama. And nothing kind of emphasised that more than the game between Loughborough Lightning and Wasps, with Wasps coming out on top 36-14. And literally, they came out firing and only took 5 minutes to get on the score sheet. Megan Jones made a superb break and offload, which found Amy Wilson-Hardy as she crossed over from close range. Wasps they extended their advantage soon after, with a Maud Muir finished, a well-executed line-out drive. Lightning responded, though, through leading try scorer Lark Davis. She powered over after a quickly taken penalty, but Wasps had the last say of the half with a genuine try of the season contender, as Jones took a quick tap and go and sliced through several Lightning players. And then she offloaded to Abby Dow, who cruised over for Wasps' third try. Quanesh brought the bonus point after a scintillating sprint down the left wing, but Davis responded immediately with her 18th try of the season. Kababi then darted over from 5 metres to extend the Wasp lead, and Abby Dow's 80th minute score in the corner sealed an impressive afternoon. So well played to the Wasp ladies, getting one over on the Loughborough Lightning. The next game was between DMP Durham Sharks and Sale Sharks at Sale, and it was a close encounter, to be fair. DMP only conceded 31 points and got 3 points themselves. So a much more balanced, should we say, scoreline for DMP. Not the kind of whitewash that we've been used to throughout this season. But unfortunately, again, they only managed to get 3 points on the board, which is disappointing. But always look at the positives, and to only concede 31 points isn't bad for them. The next game took place was between Saracens and Exeter, with Saracens coming out on top 34-21. Saracens extended their lead at the top of the table, producing the second half fight back against Exeter Chiefs, which pretty much stunned them, to be fair. Harrison put the hosts in front with an early penalty, and then Donna Rose followed that up within 2 minutes, powering over for the Sarries' first try. Chiefs responded when Rachel Johnson muscled her way over from a scrum, and then followed up by a score from Cato, who crashed over the whitewash after a series of Sarries infringements, which saw, you try saying that, both Mary Campbell and Eloise Hayward yellow carded. Exeter then took full advantage of the numerical difference. Johnson powered over for the second just before the break, which saw Chiefs go into the half-time 21-10 up. Harrison then narrowed the deficit with a second penalty shortly after the restart. Then an explosive try from Sarries' captain Lottie Clapp brought them back within touching distance. Vicky Fleetwood then put Saracens in front on 55 minutes with a well-worked pick and go, and Mary Campbell had the final word when she finished off an unstoppable driving maul to close out the roller coaster afternoon between the Chiefs and the Saracens ladies. So well done, Saracens ladies there. Disappointing for the Chiefs. I think that was probably their first loss in about 6 games, maybe. Never mind. We win some, we lose some. Next game between Harlequins and Bristol Bears Harlequins came out on top 62-7, keeping the pressure on the old Saracens at the top of the table. Chloe Edwards opened up the Quins' account, finishing off a powerful drive before Leanne Riley crossed over under the post, followed by a well-executed line-out move. Just Breach then charged down a Bears clearance and darted over for the third, and the Quins ladies secured the bonus point within 27 minutes when the referee awarded a penalty try after the Bears failed to contain the powerful Quins driving maul. Riley darted over for the second just before the break, and the visitors had a commanding 33-point lead at half-time. Amy Cockayne then powered over from a driving maul 5 minutes into the second half, and Abby Ward then finished off a blistering Quins attack under the post. Heather Cow marked her return to the starting 15 with the final score, collecting Ellie Green's chip and beating 2 players on the way to the line. And then Beth Dainton followed up with a try after breaking clear through the Bears' defence. The host did get on the score sheet with Phoebe Murray, collecting an Eleanor Snell chip to score under the post, but Quins had the last word when Ellie Green stuck a late drop goal over, taking the final score, as I said, to 62-7. Next game up was Gloucester Hartpury against Worcester Warriors. Gloucester Hartpury edging past Warriors in a bit of a thriller, winning 28-24. So Allcroft scored early on for the host with good work. Good work from Ellie Underwood, but Warriors then responded 10 minutes later with a Harry's try when she powered over in the corner. Kelly Smith scored Gloucester Hartpury's second after capitalising on a handling error, but Warriors wasted no time in clawing their way back into the game, again through Harries, who broke through the host defence for the second try of the afternoon. Allcroft then bagged her second just before half-time, and Gloucester Hartpury's 3 conversions to Warriors nil saw the host 21-10 up at the break. Corlinder then powered over for Worcester Warriors 10 minutes into the second half, and Sarah Nichols' conversion narrowed the deficit to 4 points. The Warriors pack then rumbled over the whitewash again with 3 minutes left to edge the visitors into the lead, and everybody, I think, pretty much thought that was game, set and match for Gloucester. But luckily, they snatched a try right at the death when Robin Lott crashed over the line with the clock in the red to secure that dramatic 28-24 victory. How does these results affect the table? So Saracens are sitting at the top in the number 1 spot, currently 6 point clear of Harlequins. The defeat to Wasps hasn't changed the position. Loughborough Lightning is still in third on 53, with Wasps in fourth on 51. Exeter Chiefs have fallen further behind. They are now 7 points adrift of the top 4. However, let's take into account the fact that I've said before, this is their first season in this competition, and to be near the top 4 and chasing hard is not a bad effort for them. Closely followed up behind are Gloucester, then Worcester, Bristol Bears, then Sale, and unfortunately, as I've said before many times this season, DMP Durham Sharks are sat at the bottom, yet to record any points. So that was round 15, and we will check in on the next round next week.
Okay, so Ollie, how you doing, mate?
Hello, mate. I'm right. How are you?
I'm okay.
Long time no see.
Yeah, well, I can literally see you. I'm just going to set the scene for our listeners. Ollie was working in my area, so we have literally just met up. He is in his van, I am in my car, and we are literally looking at each other.
You're picking your nose.
I'm not picking my nose. You were. Anyway, how you doing, mate? You okay?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, it's not too bad at all. Busy as usual, but all good.
Good. You're a little bit warm. You're taking your coat off.
I am, yeah.
Okay.
But we have to keep the windows up, isn't it? So no interference.
Keep the windows up, yeah, to reduce noise interference. So if for some reason we don't sound great, that's why. We are both mobile today, out and about, having fun. I have my dog with me. There are other dogs around, so he might start barking, but never mind. Let's just start with the Six Nations, because I appreciate you are short on time, as you're a busy man, busier than I.
You're on holiday, mate, aren't you? Having a life of Riley this week?
I am. I'm on. Yeah, I'm not actually working. I'm on holiday this week, so it's quite cool. I did say let's start with the Six Nations, mate, but let's just do the news quickly. Most importantly, the Lions tour to South Africa is going to go ahead. Fantastic news in South Africa.
Yeah, that is great news. I don't know if that's most important news that we've heard recently. I would say it's probably second most in the rugby news overall. But
are you about to say that Danny Cipriani signing for Bath is more?
Well, obviously that is the top news headline in the rugby
one. Right, fair enough. So
stick to the Lions, or
no? Just stick to the Lions for a second. So obviously the Lions tour is going to go ahead in South Africa, which is fantastic news.
Yeah.
I don't think they've kind of given the ins and outs of how things are going to be taking place. I'd imagine there's going to be a lot of work that's going to go into it to make sure everything is as safe as possible. Hopefully there will be fans. But yeah, I'm just glad that we're going to have a summer of watching the British and Irish Lions stick one over our South African friends.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, indeed. No, it is great, isn't it? That's what I think all Lions fans probably hope for that as the end result, isn't it? To be as it should be out in South Africa. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see exactly what happens. I think at the moment it's probably unlikely there's going to be much in the way of fans, but if they can manage to change that will obviously be a double win, won't it? A double win.
Absolutely. No, it's really good. Really good. Okay, so let's talk about Sips. Starting at Bath this season, I think.
Confirmed this morning, wasn't it? It's been building up in the rumour mill, isn't it, for the last week or two? But yeah, confirmed this morning, joining the club, I believe, at the beginning of May.
Fantastic.
Well, hopefully.
Well, fingers crossed he goes well, mate. I still do. I know we've said about it before, so we're not going to rehash anything, but I'd just be worried a little bit of how it works, how he'll gel with the other guys. But, no doubt he's a quality international. He's got a lot about him. Fingers crossed that it all kind of pans out for him, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. It is a bit of a risk, I think, but with Danny Sips, isn't it? But I think, as we've discussed before, the potential there is unreal for him personally, but also for Bath, because he really is, I think, if he can get back to his top form and gel with the squad, then I think it really could be the sort of missing piece that Bath have been looking for a number of years, because we've certainly got a forward pack who can match the best, and a back line who can match the best, and now a number 9 in Spencer who's up there with the best. So no disrespect to any of the other 10s, and certainly Priestland, who's had the best season he's ever had in his last season for the club this year. But Danny Sips, I think, if he can get back to his best, is that projects us up to where we should be, winning. Yeah, interesting to see. Are you dropping off to sleep there?
No, mate, no. I just noticed if you're clicking on things on your phone, it's making the signal drop out. That's why I brought a second phone.
I wasn't clicking, mate.
I watched you.
Oh yeah, I did. No, that was a call come through, actually.
That's probably what it is. Your signal just dropped out a little bit because the call came through. But it's all right. Don't worry. We're good. The fans know we're mobile. And I see old Cock and a Cigar has
re-signed. Yeah.
Re-signed. That's really good, because he was supposed to be off to Irish.
There was rumours of it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But, I don't know if what I read's right. They progressed quite well with actually signing him, but for whatever reason, Bath have upped the ante and contested that and decided he's going nowhere. So that's good as well.
It is good. I mean, obviously you've got McConaughey and the old the Mer guy, the Sevens guys. Obviously you're losing Rocketaguni, so it's probably a good job he has re-signed, really. Yeah,
and Watson as well, isn't it? Because I think.
Oh, sorry, of course, Watson. Yeah. So you've got some quality wingers there.
Certainly have, mate. So although Cock and a Seager's not been anywhere near his best for a while, but hopefully he can turn that around for the rest of this season. All being well.
Yeah. I mean, he's a quality player when he's on form, definitely.
Potential's there, isn't it? Definitely with that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. So let's go Six Nations, mate. And I know you didn't get a chance to watch any of it, and personally, I don't necessarily blame you. let's just start with Italy-Scotland. They played a game.
Yep.
Scotland at Murrayfield. Scotland won 52-10. I mean, just to touch on quickly, Italy have been really poor this Six Nations. I think they've taken absolute poundings. So it's no real surprise that Scotland did it to them, like every other team has, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a massive slater of Italy, like we said before. They've been beaten well by every side and not contesting in general. But on the other hand, I don't think it's all doom and gloom with Italy. They've shown spells of some good rugby, haven't they? Some positive stuff. So got to give them a bit of credit like that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's not forget they have got, there's a lot of young players in there as well. So, fingers crossed. That's, I know they say there's been, they're on a building period, but you never know. Let's, fingers crossed, see what happens from them in the future. England, Ireland, mate. Obviously, I think we all know what happened. England sadly lost over in Dublin to Ireland, 32-18. To me, obviously, I watched the game. I know you haven't, but you would have read up on it or maybe seen some highlights. England just didn't look in the game at all, and Ireland just completely put them to the sword. To be fair,
I did. Yeah, as you say, mate, I didn't get to watch any live Six Nations rugby, and the England one. Although I would have liked to have watched it once I saw the way it went, I wasn't particularly enthused to watch it, mate. So I haven't watched it, but it's just really disappointing, isn't it? It's especially after the performance, what seemed like a sort of turnaround performance and result against France. To sort of go back to the by all accounts the sort of level of individual and team performance that they've done really for every other game, isn't it? So
discipline again for England let them down really. I mean, obviously I know Ireland lost Bundiaki to that hit on Vunipola. Owen Farrell went off, I think, due to a HIA, and England just fortunately didn't look that good and have finished second from bottom, just avoiding the wooden spoon. Just very quickly, Eddie Jones, lots of stuff in the press about get rid of Eddie. Get him out. So are you on that bandwagon? Do you think his time's gone?
Well, no, like we've said before, haven't we? Like I'm not one for. I always try to be sort of as best as I can. Sort of, my view is like balanced and try to be positive and stuff. So I never jump on that immediate reaction, get him out type thing, because it's I don't think it's good for any sport. You see it in football a lot, don't you? And it's you don't want to see that coming into our game. But on the other hand, you can totally understand why people are shouting that. And I don't think the way it's gone, Eddie's particularly done himself any favours, because he seems to have.
He's riled people up a bit, isn't he?
Yeah, he's riled people up, and he's done things. It's just the way he is. But he does things his way. It's Eddie's, and that's fine. That's a strong leader is like that anyway, aren't they? But on the other hand, that's all well and good as long as you're
producing,
performing on the pitch and getting the results, isn't it? Which he hasn't. But
no.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm a big fan of Eddie Jones. Obviously, he's a top world class coach, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't want to jump on the bandwagon, but I can see the argument for is it just a natural course of time, like people are suggesting? I think he's been in the England job just over 6 years now, isn't it? So and he did. I don't know if you heard the interview that's come up recently that he did in 2016 with Lawrence Dallaglio, where he himself. Have you heard that one? Dallaglio was quizzing him on.
He said it was like a 4-year job and then get out.
Yeah, I think it was really with his Australia, because that went all a bit tits up in the last year or two that he was with Australia. And before that, obviously the first 4-year cycle, he got to the World Cup final, and prior to that, beating All Blacks, which hadn't really been done for several years, and in the Tri-Nations and all that sort of thing. But then the last year or two just went performances and results. And he said to Dallaglio, I should have got out. I should have left that job after 4 years. I stayed in it too long, and I won't make that mistake again. But
he could be making it again.
Yeah, possibly. But then on the other hand, a lot of people are saying like it's just a cyclical thing, and we had a similar run of results in.
Yeah, we did.
Was it 2017, 2018?
Yeah.
And then he had a big clear out on the playing staff. That was when the likes of the Harlequins boys, wasn't it? Danny Kerr, Mike Brown,
Yeah.
Rob Shaw. So some sort of fairly big name key England guys, wasn't it? He had a big clear out, and then within a couple of years got us to World Cup final again. So there is that argument, but whichever way you go, it's kind of a risk, isn't it? And I think the big question personally is it's all very well saying Eddie out, but then who's in?
Who comes in?
Like, yeah.
And I think changes need to be made. I think you're definitely right. It does need. I think it's just interesting what kind of, and I know we don't want to keep chatting about it, but what kind of confused me was, his comments that as the tournament went on, they got better. I disagree. I don't think they did. But I saw an interesting stat today that said over the last 10 years, Eddie Jones has a 76.8 win rate for England, which is the highest coaching win rate. Since the likes of Jack Rowell, all those kind of people, Martin Johnson, to name just a couple. So it's interesting. We'll just have to wait and see what happens, I guess.
That's the argument in his favour, isn't it? Because it's you look at sort of the previous probably 5 to 10 years of England performance and results before Eddie came in. I mean, what he's done since then and how the team's performed and the result, like you say, the win ratio he's got, that's far better, isn't it? So he's obviously drastically improved things. But is it just a case that he is however good he is and however well rated, has he sort of gone as far as he can with this team and squad, isn't it? That does sometimes happen, doesn't it? So
yeah, absolutely.
But who's in? That's what I would.
Yeah, God only knows, mate. God only knows. We'll just have to keep our eye on the press and just see what goes down. And then obviously Wales, France keeping the old dream of the championship open, beating Wales in France 32-30, couple of yellow cards, a red card for gouging. Really entertaining game. I didn't actually stay up and watch this. It was well past my bedtime, but I caught the game, the whole game, the next morning. Kids were up early, so I stuck it on, told them to be quiet, and watched the game. Fantastic. France played and won, didn't they? A really entertaining game.
Yeah.
Great tries, great skill, great determination. Sad for Wales, but obviously France now go into Friday night's game with Scotland, having to produce a bit of a miracle in terms of, I think they've got to get 4 tries and have to beat Scotland by 20 points. I don't think they're going to necessarily do that. I think they might get the 4 tries, but I think the 21 points against Scotland could be a little bit out of their reach.
Yeah, I would agree. That's quite a big ask, but on the other hand, you wouldn't put it past them, especially with it being in Paris, isn't it? But just unlucky for Wales, isn't it? But obviously unlucky losing the chance of the Grand Slam, but they're still, like you say, they're still probably odds on favourites for winning the championship, even with that postponed fixture to go ahead, isn't it? But they I think they, from what I have seen on reviewing the game, it's they were pretty much dominated France, didn't they, for the majority of it, apart from the last 20 minutes with a big French comeback, wasn't it? But
yeah, I think the impact of the French bench, where it didn't have the kind of impact that it might have wanted to have against England, it did have it against Wales. But obviously losing 2 players to the sin bin, you're down to 13 men, in the dying stages, and it was a simple play by France. They attacked the wing where the man should have been, and jobs are good and score the try. It's game over.
Game over.
Yeah. So we'll be looking forward to Friday night. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens, but I think it will be a France win. But I think they'll get the 4 tries, but I don't think they'll get the 21 points that they need to secure the championship.
Fair play. I'm going to back them to do it, mate.
Oh, lovely. Interesting. So that gets us on to the Gallagher Premiership. Friday night, Wasps away at Newcastle. I think we both said a Newcastle win for this one.
Yeah.
Am I going to have to time in? Am I going to have to intertime between you scoffing that banana?
No, mate, it's fine. I'm just
okay.
getting me health fix on. Banana.
Good. So unfortunately, we were wrong. Wasp took the victory up at Kingston Park, 20-18. Really a nuggety display by Newcastle. I thought they had a much better first half than they did second half. In fact, but at half time, Newcastle were 18-6 up. But then the fight back by Wasp came, and fair play. They took the victory. Not many people go up there and take the win, really.
No, exactly, mate. I think, totally. That is probably Wasp's best performance for quite a while. But I think the key thing for them was having a couple of key guys back, wasn't it? Launchbury in particular, and Barbary was back as well, wasn't he? So
yeah, he came on second half, looked decent.
So I think that was
strength.
Yeah, that's the strongest side they've been able to put out for a while, isn't it? So that made a difference for them. But good. I watched most of that game. It was a good, fairly well contested game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really good to watch. And obviously, we both saw the eye gouging into the old Biller up there. If you look over there, the police. We're not doing anything wrong, though, mate. We're in our own cars, so that's okay. Matteo Carreras, a bit of foul play. The most blatant piece of gouging I think I've ever seen in my life, even in the levels of rugby that I've played.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Caught on TV. He's now had a 9-game ban for intentional eye contact. Absolutely 100% deserves it. Probably deserves more. I'm assuming it was negated down because he pleaded guilty. Not much else he could do, really, because it was just a moment of stupidity.
Yeah, agree, mate. Just can't say much more on that.
Crack on, move on.
Yeah, that is just ultimate stupidity, isn't it? It's just
yeah.
And that's the sort of thing. Yeah, I would say he's probably got off lightly with 9 games there, because that's the sort of thing that should be, with everything that's going on with all the bans at the moment. That's the sort of thing that should be massively stamped down on, because it was without a shadow of doubt intentional what he was doing, wasn't it? It was that stupid. But
yeah.
Anyway, move on. Yeah, idiot.
So that moves us on to Bath's win at home to Worcester, 47-22. Another fantastic display by Bath. Maybe a little bit disappointed to let so many points in against Worcester. They had a bit of a fight back in the second half. But again, Tom Dunn got 2 tries. Murr got a couple. Spencer got on the board. Mercer again. All looking quite good for your fantasy team. Nice victory. Expected. I think we both said Bath on that one.
Yeah, agreed. I don't know whether I expected it to be quite so dominant, especially first half. But and like you say, yeah, a bit of a comeback by Worcester in the second half. But I suppose it's most games like that. If you run away that much in the first half, it's only natural for any side, however dominant you are, to foot off the gas a bit, isn't it? So, but never in doubt who was going to win it. But yeah, and I suppose it was Worcester rested a couple of players, I think. So there's always that in their defence.
They might have put a few of the young boys out, which is fine. Obviously, relegation's not on the card, so they can do that. It's good experience for them. So, it is what it is.
But yeah, great 5 points for Bath, moving on up the league.
Yeah.
Ahead of Leicester now, in fact.
Yes, you did have great pleasure in telling me that, I remember. So, Harlequins game against Gloucester. Who nearly scored 60? 59-24. Harlequins, I watched this game, and they were absolutely... Well, that's a lie. I was flicking between Harlequins and Leicester. And Harlequins are on fire. Danny Kerr, we both brought him into our fantasy team. Ridiculous how in tune we are. Bagged us 2 tries. He just looked immense. Probably the best scrum half in the country.
Yep, agree.
I thought Don Brandt scored 2. He had another fantastic game. Mike Brown, probably the best fullback in England at the moment. Got a try. And I think, like you say, they got so far ahead so quickly. They probably took their foot off the brakes, because at halftime it was 24-7. Gloucester came back to one point where it was 24-all. And then Harlequins put the pedal down again and kind of took away the game, really. Home at the Stoop. Nice victory, 5-point.
Yeah, mate. Can't really say no more on that one. I didn't get to watch any of that live, but I watched the highlights, and yeah, it's just Harlequins are on a bloody good run at the moment, aren't they? Probably playing, certainly attacking rugby wise, they're playing, I would say, the best in the league at the moment, aren't they?
Definitely. I think it's called a rich vein of form.
Rich vein of form, like it, yeah. Very good, very good.
Yeah, that sounds quite professional, doesn't it? All right, you enjoying that banana, aren't you?
Yeah, it's nice, mate.
Right, and now this was the game you were like, Exeter are going to absolutely hump bloody Leicester
and they did.
Well, let's be fair, right? Okay, so yes, they did. It was 47-31. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tries for Bath, but not many teams go to Exeter and come away with a four tries, do they? In a bonus point. You got to give me that.
You're looking at me like with your hands together, please.
I mean, obviously, Leicester lost out the old winger Van Dijk.
Yeah.
He got red carded. Quite a similar thing to Ollie Forley the other week. I think he's got a 4-match ban now. But to be fair, it was a red card. It was just
it was just silly, wasn't it? That one, but
but I think Leicester looked really good, mate. You know, we've said before that they could. You know, a red card happened so early on. It basically screws the game. But I watched, like I said, flicking between the two, but ended up watching more of this game. Leicester just showed a lot of heart, I thought, and kind of really battled on. And at one point, they're actually quite close to potentially getting into the lead. It wasn't until the end when Van Meulen and scored a try that kind of took it away a bit. But I just thought Leicester probably took a lot away from that game. Hello?
Oh, sorry, mate. I dropped.
What an absolute twat. I thought you had actually dropped off then.
Sorry, mate. Just hearing you waffle on about Leicester. Yeah. No, I'm only joking, mate. It was I think got to give them credit, and I do, mate. It's to go down and score 4 tries at Chiefs and get a bonus point there. It's good for anyone to do, isn't it? And when I think I said to you, isn't it? Especially when the team sheets came out, because Leicester rested quite a few guys, didn't they? So there's a lot of the youngsters in, especially in the back line and that. So it wasn't looking good. I thought wasn't expecting Leicester to score that many. So a good spirited attempted comeback, wasn't it, in the second half? So yeah, good stuff, mate. Good stuff.
Good lad. Good. And that took us on to Sunday, Northampton and Bristol. I did watch some of this game. Northampton looked good again, but I think Bristol obviously took 4 tries, taking the victory 28-21. Franklin's Gardens quite a hard place to go to. I mean, Andy Uren, the scrum half, played exceptionally well. Your guy Ngolo scored again, so he's decent. But I think Bristol just have a different way. They have different game plans. They can play the high tempo into play, but they can also dog it out and score tries through the forwards. I know obviously all the tries came from backs, but the forward performance, they look quite solid. And that's the sign of a champion team that can dog it and play different ways, really.
Yeah, I think it's just more of the same, like we've said, isn't it, with Bristol? I thought actually Northampton were pretty unlucky because they probably played the better rugby. And what you said before about people deserving, they probably deserved to win that game, but Bristol just again found a way to win, didn't they? So they're looking strong, mate. They're looking strong.
Yeah, they are indeed. And then Sale had a good victory against London Irish at home, 41-13. I was a bit disappointed in Irish. I think they could have done better, but I mean, Sale were just on form. I think Sale had 3 tries that were disallowed for either Lou Diega scored a try, but it was adjudged it was a slight knock on. A couple of times they were held up over the line. Old McGuigan got 3 tries. Diego got 1. It was a solid performance by Sale, really.
Yeah, agree, mate. I think you say sort of disappointed in Irish, but I think it was actually more personally. I think the performance by Sale just didn't let Irish get going, did they? I thought they were. I was really impressed actually with this performance by Sale. I think because they've stuttered a little bit, and I just thought this was a real proper dominant Sale performance. So that could be the turning point for their season as well. It's because I think for all the teams, now's the time to start gathering momentum, isn't it, for the end of the season? So
yeah, definitely, it's getting towards the end of the season.
Yeah, this is where you see your top 4 contenders starting to make their run, isn't it?
Yeah, No, I'd agree. So very quickly, as you did say, in terms of the table, let's just have a wee looky kooky Premiership Rugby. So, oh no, that's not what I wanted to do.
How do we do on predictions before you go on to that, mate? Was it?
I don't think we did particularly well this week. I think we got the majority of them. We obviously didn't. I think you probably got them all, apart from Newcastle. Yeah. So top of the table: Bristol, Exeter, Quins, and Sale. Northampton, Irish, Bath, and Leicester. Newcastle, Wasp, Gloucester, Worcester.
Yep.
The Worcester aren't looking great at the moment, but hey ho, fingers crossed they'll improve. No point talking about fantasy rugby. I think you're another 36 points ahead, which makes it
535.
535 points ahead. Lovely. Well, it's not over till it's over, but I can't lie. I am starting to worry.
Losing a bit of confidence.
Yes, a little bit, if I'm honest. Yeah, especially when I got a plan where I bring Danny Kerr into the team, and I see your team, and lo and behold, you've brought him in as well. If you hadn't brought him in, that'd have been 2 more tries, a few more points.
Yeah,
closer.
That must have hurt, mate.
It did.
It's like I can read your mind, isn't it?
I know, it is almost like you can read my mind. It's a bit weird, to be fair.
Are you going to sign Danny Cipriani when he comes, though? That's the question.
No, I'm not. No, I won't. Or will I? No, I won't. Predictions for next week. And then we'll wrap things up. Because I do need to take the dog for a walk, and he's probably a bit warm in the back of the car. Exeter, Gloucester. At Gloucester, I think only one winner. Exeter.
Yep.
Maybe a bit tighter than we expect.
Yeah, possibly. It's just Exeter are still stuttering a bit, aren't they? But they're managing to get the win. So yeah, got to back Chiefs, haven't you?
Yeah, I'd agree. Saturday, Harlequins at Bristol. Now, if Harlequins want to be considered serious contenders, they need to go to Ashton Gate and win this one.
Yeah, agreed.
And I'm going to back them to do it. I think they're going to come out firing and hit Bristol straight off the bat and get into the lead.
Fair play. I'm going to go Bristol.
Thought so. Bath, London Irish at Irish.
Yeah, Bath.
Yeah, Bath.
It could be close and tough, but
I think it'll be close. But I think if Bath get off how they have done in the last few games and knock the confidence, then I could see Bath winning that one. But I think it could be.
Yeah, confidence is the thing. Bath are massively a confident side, so hopefully the recent run will keep them going to keep picking up the wins. So yeah, I'll always back them anyway, but I genuinely think and hope they'll have this one.
I agree on that one. Yeah, I agree. Northampton at Worcester. Northampton.
Do you know what? I'm going to go Worcester.
They're due a win.
Yeah. They're due a win.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go for Northampton. I don't think Worcester are going to get this win this week. Sale at Wasps.
Oh.
Sale. Although Wasps did look good.
I'm going Wasps, mate. The dog woo's back.
Wow.
Robson back.
If he plays.
Do they have to be rested or?
I don't know, mate. Well, he don't need a fucking rest, does he? He's not bloody played for like 3 months.
Yeah. So I would have thought the dog will be straight back and at least straight on the bench, won't they? But
yeah.
Anyway, I'm going Wasp, mate. I just saw in them last week. It's especially with Launchbury back. I just think that makes such a difference for them. But they still miss Willis, don't they? Or Jack Willis, but he's obviously not coming back anytime soon.
Well, and his brother and Tom as well.
Yeah,
they missed Tom as well. To be fair. Yeah. Okay, and then Sunday, Newcastle at Tigers. Well, there's only one winner there. Tigers. They'll do Newcastle, mate.
You're looking at me. Come on. Tigers, mate. Tigers.
No, good man. All right, mate. Listen, let's wrap this up. Thank you very much. I've really enjoyed this. It's been quite good, actually, getting facial reaction, reading body language.
Watch me eat my banana. That was your favourite bit, wasn't it?
Yes, when you yes. Anyway, hey. And just to reassure everybody, this is totally socially distanced. He is in his van. I am in my car.
Not breaking any COVID regulations at all.
I
We
don't
don't
think we are. Well, the police were over there. And they didn't come and arrest
we
us.
don't
So
break
that's all
any
good.
rules, do we, mate? We don't
Anyway,
break
mate,
any rules.
no, we don't make them. We just follow them. We abide by them all the time.
Sweet.
Anyway, I'll see
Cheers,
you
mate.
later.
Speak to you
Peace.
soon.
No worries, buddy.
Bye.
You too. Bye.
That brings episode 25 to a conclusion. Thank you very much for downloading and listening to us babble on about rugby, giving our views and opinions. If you don't agree with them, that's absolutely fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Needless to say, thank you very much to iSpy Surveys for continuing to sponsor this podcast. We are available on all platforms such as Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcast and YouTube. We are over on the cesspit that is Twitter, so if you do want to go over there and check us out, it's at top2inchesrp. Leave us some messages, leave us some comments, let us know what you think of the podcast. And yeah, we will be back next week for episode 26. We will check in again, obviously, on the Gallagher Premiership and the Allianz 15s and see who is crowned the champions of the Six Nations. Will it be Wales? Will it be France? We'll find out next week. Thanks once again for listening. Take care, and we will be back with you soon.